99% of the people who are dying from COVID are unvaccinated.
That's their choice.
They don't want to die. So they are. The administration and the government is saying we need the mask mandate to protect the unvaccinated.
That's not their job. It's not their job to protect anybody.
Well, headline on Raw Stories: Fox News viewers tear into Steve Doocy after he begs them to get vaccinated. And bear in mind, I'm not going to jump into the individuals because what does it mean? What it means is a lot of randos were attacking him, and it's up to you whether you think it matters that a bunch of randos said something or whatever. But it was pretty predictable that Steve Doocy just pointing out like a literal fact that generally about 99% of those who are dying now are unvaccinated. That's just, I guess that's an inconvenient truth. I thought you guys were the facts don't care about your feelings people, but it seems like you're having a lot of feelings about his facts. It seems like you're a little bit mad about it for some reason. He's pointing out that you might die following the philosophy that you have. And so to some extent, I can understand pragmatically why Brian Kilmeade is trying to cover his ass. He doesn't want to be attacked in that way.
No, exactly. And like I said, he's being consistent. I mean, the real question that he's pointing to and that you pointed to in the beginning of this is, does the government have a responsibility to take care of its people? And I think most people, even right wingers, would agree the answer is yes, right? And especially if it comes to an act of terrorism or war or a flood. I mean, geez, right? Like climate chaos, that the government and local authorities have a role to play, that they're gonna try and put out a fire that is burning and is gonna threaten your home somehow. And it is because this virus happened under Trump. We've lifted COVID-19 out of that responsibility that the government has and placed it in some separate little corner. And it's like, nope, it's all on you.
Well, the thing is, I would almost understand why we would have lifted that out and treated it like, for instance, why do we allow so many people to die of any number of different chronic illnesses? And as a society, we largely just turn our head and don't care about the fact that it's so common that so many people are, overdosing on opioids or dying of heart disease or God knows what. Like we don't care. We don't care if they have insurance. So you might be inclined to say, well, this is just America. It's a sickness thing. We don't care about public health. And we consider those to be different things than, for instance, we made the comparison to the military. I doubt Brian Kilmeade, if like Canada invaded, be like, well, if you stay there, that was your decision. You shouldn't have stood where that tank was gonna be. But then like, I would say hypothetically, well, what if Canada released a biological weapon? Okay, that makes it a little bit closer to what we have here. And the thing is, that's what they believe this is. They think China released this. So you don't get to separate it and say that it's just a public health thing. If there should be some sort of dark lining of your insane conspiracy theory in that, if you believe that this is a Chinese pathogen that they released to kill us, well then why aren't you treating it like a national security threat, which you seem to think it is, and yet you still don't care. So China's allowed to, and by the way, I don't believe literally any of this, but by your logic, China's allowed to kill hundreds of thousands of people with a biological weapon in a way that you would never allow if it was them using assault rifles? Again, none of that's true, but that's what they believe. They just don't take the next step to actually care about it.
Yeah, no, they want a full-fledged war, but we would still have resistance to a mask mandate if it was agreed upon that China deliberately released the COVID-19, right? Like it would still be like, no, I get to shop without a mask on, and no, you're a Nazi, but also let's go to war directly. And no, nothing would be solved. We would just have what we have now, plus a war.
Yeah.
Yay.
Right. Okay, well, we might get that.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.